Welcome to Married to Cinema. I'm Brian.
I'm Whitney.
I love movies.
And I don't.
So in this edition, we're talking about the classic film, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. First thing I want to bring up of note is this is the first time that we have talked about a critically acclaimed film on our show.
I love Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I got a copy on accident when I was 5. My grandma, who is the sweetest lady in the world, got my cousin and I each a tape for Christmas, because there were tapes then, and my cousin got a Madeline tape, and I got Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I remember as a kid being like, that sucks, she got a cartoon, I got real people, and then I watched it, and I was like, I love this, like, so.
Yeah, so, should we talk about the plot? Go ahead and launch into that.
Sure.
Alright, so the film is set in the 40s, and it's very much a callback to, like, the 1940s film noir, hard-boiled detective films that would come out. That's what makes it so fun, is they take that aesthetic and that feel and that vibe, and they put it in the world of cartoons with real-life people, and make it just this brilliant crossover for both kids and adults, where everybody can love it, and it's delightful.
Yeah, it's so enjoyable. The plot is good. It has some twists in it, but it's not too serious. Rocky, no ma'am. Sorry, we have a cat trying to get in the picture.
Cameo by Rocky.
So, but yeah, I really like it. It opens with the great baby, I don't know what the baby's name is.
I don't recall. Was it Baby Huey? Or is that
It's not. That's the big duck with the bonnet.
Yeah, you're right.
Shout out to my brother, whose nickname is Baby Huey.
That's what I was thinking of.
But the baby in Roger Rabbit, and he's, trying to protect this baby from all manner of danger in the house. Like, boiling pots of water and stuff.
And the film pulls back to reveal that that's just a set of the new cartoon feature by this studio exec named Maroon, who's been having trouble with his pictures declining in box office returns, so he hires a PI named Eddie Valiant, was the name, played by the great Bob Hoskins, R.I.P., to investigate some rumors he'd heard about Roger's very attractive, sexy femme fatale wife, fooling around with Acme, who runs both Acme Corporation and Toontown. And so Eddie does, and he takes some photos and finds Roger's wife Jessica playing patty cake with Acme.
Patty cake, patty cake, patty cake. That's just like such a classic. Like,
he shows these photos to Roger, and Roger is distraught and vows that he and Jessica will be happy again. Cut to the next day. Acme is found dead due to a safe falling off.
And naturally, Roger is going to be the #1 suspect for this, because he's the one that just vowed, like, we're going to be happy, you'll see. So,
Enter Judge Doom, played by the amazing Christopher Lloyd.
Yes.
Has this evil, sinister judge who has this vat of acid that's the only thing that can kill Toons.
Which is sick, by the way, because you see him dip this cartoon shoe in the dip, that's what it's called, and it dies in front of cartoon characters. Like, it's pretty sick. Like, kind of twisted, but...
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know. Hey, Rocky.
But from there, it's all about Eddie teaming up with Roger to try to clear his name and prove his innocence. And that's all I personally want to say about the plot. From there, it's just a brilliant blend of real live action and cartoon worlds colliding, like Ralph Bakshi would attempt to do in Cool World, to mixed results. People either love or hate that film. Most people hate it. I love it, but I get it. But this film was a huge point. It was a major success. And an interesting thing about the background is it was project that had been circling Disney for a while, since there was a novel published called Who Censored Roger Rabbit by Gary K. Wolfe, I believe was his name. And it was basically him doing a hard-boiled detective novel, like, which was this film. It was what this film is based off of. And so they were looking for a director for the project, and Robert Zemeckis came up and was like, hey, I want to do it. And they were like, your movies ain't done shit box office wise. We don't trust that. We're going to Terry Gilliam. This was before Back to the Future, mind you, but just imagine that Disney turned down the director of Back to the Future for the director of, like, 12 Monkeys in Brazil. Seems very weird. A very weird fit, Gilliam and Disney. Like, even Time Bandits, which is Gilliam's, like, most PG movie. Pretty dark. Pretty dark movie. But then this project still hadn't gotten off the ground because I think Gilliam declined. And Zemeckis had, like, this massive hit with Back to the Future. And then Disney reached out to him and was like, hey, so, we were just kidding. You wanna do this Roger Rabbit movie? And he was like, yeah, bitches, I do. And, yeah.
I think, and I was realizing this is the first time I've watched this movie in a few years, I guess. It's been a couple years. And I think something that I was realizing now more than any other time I've ever seen it is that there's a lot of, like, points of emotion in this movie. Like, as silly as it is, you're watching Eddie, whose brother... First of all, I never realized that they were in clown. Their dad was a clown before this until this time around. But he has a brother that is murdered by a tune, and this sends him into this spiral of drinking and having a hard time holding the job down. And like the music pairs so well. It's like kind of like very emotionally touching. In a lot of parts for me. I mean, maybe you didn't get that, but I did. I felt touched by this stupid movie. Like,
I didn't really get the emotional aspect, but I understood it, and I felt like it was well conveyed
well, I'm a
and
sap,
well executed.
So, but
I thought it was well done. Like, the whole arc throughout the movie is, like, there's the backstory of Eddie being, like, he's this just disgruntled, like, down on his luck alcoholic detective because his partner, who is his brother, was murdered years before, so it's just sent him down this path of essentially self-destruction.
Right.
Which makes the end result of the whole film, like, even more of a great redemptive point, and it makes his, like, unlikely bond with him and Roger work even better.
There's, like, a lot of really odd, funny elements in here, too, like the weasels. Which are, like, just these, like, bad guys for, Judge Doom that are literally cartoon weasels, and they're so stupid. Like, they're just, like, like, running into things and, like, messing up, and, like...
Like your classic goons, you know? Like...
And
like,
doing classic follies, like stepping on a rake and hitting themselves in the crotch with the handle, and like they're just basically stupid. Like
they're kind of like over the top comical versions of like Peter Lorre's character in Maltese Falcon, where in that movie like Peter Lorre's like, "Oh yes, Mr. Spade, you can't get me now," and then Spade's like, "How about now?" And he goes, "Oh crap," and that's basically what these weasels are, except way more animated. Pun intended, and over the top.
Yeah, they're funny. I like the weasels, and I like their little outfits. They're so stupid looking. Like
looks like they're going to church on a Sunday.
Well, except the one that's got like a propeller hat and a striped t-shirt with his gut hanging out. Like,
yeah.
So I don't know. They're like probably one of my favorite characters in this whole thing. And then of course you have Jessica Rabbit, who's just like incredibly like as a kid. I remember thinking, wow, she's so pretty. And then as an adult, and I'm like, you're kind of scary looking. I bet you don't feel good. Like, her waist is like this. And then she's just got a major rack and butt. Like, there's no way she's comfortable. Nor should she be able to stand up. Like...
It's basically their attempt of taking Betty Boop and making her even more tall, slender, sensual, classic femme fatale. It's a very great result for a cartoon. Very well done.
She's just looks ill.
Another thing I love is that the voice of Roger Rabbit is by Charles Fleischer, who's a character actor and voice actor who pops up in the most random places. For example, he was the Doctor in the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and he was in Zodiac, the David Fincher masterpiece from 2007. He played the guy that Robert Graysmith came to the house of, and was like, so he drew these posters. He goes, "No, Mr. Graysmith, I did." And they're down in the basement, and it's like the creepiest scene.
Okay.
That was the voice of Roger Rabbit.
That's a weird juxtaposition, but okay.
No, very creepy dude. And it's like, he was Roger Rabbit. I always forget that, and every time I watch, I'm like, oh yeah. Blows my mind every time.
So how do you feel about the big musical number at the end? Because that's always my favorite part of the movie. Valiant is my name, and singing is my game. Da, 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 da.
It's very entertaining because to me that's Eddie becoming one with the tunes and using it to his advantage and just embracing it. And
I love "I'll kick you in the nose."
Yep.
That don't rhyme with walls. I mean, just such a perfect
Yeah, no, that's one of my favorite moments of the movie. Is his whole musical number, because that's when he decides, I'm gonna play their game.
Yeah.
And he does, and it's just pitch perfect for humor and everything. And
Bob
Hoskins really sells it.
That scene is great. He was such a great actor, because there was something about him that was, I don't know if it was a physical stature or what, but he could play it serious, but he could also just be the goofiest dude. And I love that. You can see that he was a very good fit for this character in this movie because of that. So, but yeah, that's always been my favorite scene.
Yeah, which is weird because most people know him as this serious British actor. But then me growing up as a kid, I know him from Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Super Mario Brothers.
I was going to say, what about Super Mario Brothers?
So yeah, he had the opposite reputation for me for a while till I realized his other work. I'm like, oh.
Was he not in Mermaids with Cher as well?
He was, okay. Yep.
One of my favorite movies. But, yeah, I don't know. I like the whole movie. I think it's funny over and over, classically funny. I was laughing at jokes that I've been hearing since I was 5 and I watched this first time.
Yep, I think it
ages well.
I'm a big fan of Robert Zemeckis. I'll defend most of his movies that people won't. A common argument I have with my friends is his movie The Walk. They're always like, oh, it's terrible. I hate when they do dramatizations of documentaries. And I'm like, I enjoyed The Walk. It was fun. I enjoyed it. So I'm a bit of a defender of Zemeckis, and to me this is one of his best movies, right up there with the first two Back to the Futures. Of course, Forrest Gump and Castaway are great as well, but to me it's Roger Rabbit and Back to the Future, the cream of the crop, if you will. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to cut this episode a little shorter than most because the phone is dying, which we're recording on.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But we can put a rating in.
Yes, rating. I give this one a 9 out of 10. Yeah, it's hard for me to go above that. I have to really, connect with something to give it above a 9. So, I go a 9 out of 10. I love it. I think it's great. It's great for all ages, but doesn't hit above that for me because it doesn't resonate with me on a deep personal level, just on the entertainment value and the well-made construction of the whole piece.
Sure, and I gotta give it a 9 out of 10 as well, because I'm the same way. Certain films do hit you at that 10 out of 10 spot. This is awesome, but it's not quite there. I mean, it's not deep. It's not, but I do love the film, and I'd watch it again in a heartbeat.
Oh, and Christopher Lloyd, we didn't really touch up on this, but Christopher Lloyd is so great as Judge Doom in this.
Yeah.
He's so over the top and zany.
And he's creepy. He's incredibly creepy.
He's
and then
all over the place.
The scene, shave and a haircut.
Yeah. Rockets. Yep.
It goes flying out the wall.
Love that.
But
Anyway.
it's good. So...
If you haven't seen it, which most people have, but if you're one of the few who has not seen this film,
go see it.
definitely watch it. Find it
Probably-
anywhere. It's
it's
probably
probably
on
on
Disney Plus
Netflix.
or somewhere.
I think it's definitely on Disney Plus. I feel like I
Yeah.
saw it on there. So, but yeah. Thanks for watching. And
Be sure to like and subscribe. Married Cinema. We'll keep doing some videos. We're going to have some coming up very soon, especially getting through some more suggestions here and
yeah,
weaving in that with some other stuff.
please drop suggestions in the comments if you want to see something. We'll try to get to it. I know that a specific suggestion that was given to us, we are waiting to come in the mail. We had to order a copy. So we do get to them eventually. So yeah, please continue to give that to us. And
And thank you for watching.
all right.